Caroline Gray is Senior Lecturer in Politics and International Relations at the University of Aston in Birmingham in the UK. Caroline, welcome. Good to see you. I guess maybe we don't really know the answer, but who are these people and why are they crossing?
Well, this is a massive influx coming from Morocco and Northern Africa through into Ceuta, a much bigger influx than we've seen before. The last biggest crossing was sort of 2021, was about 8,000 people. We don't quite know why they're coming just now. There has recently been Spain's Supreme Court said that any of those coming by sea couldn't just be immediately returned, so it could be related to that. But this is obviously huge numbers that are coming, and the reasons are not exactly clear as to exactly why now. But
60,000 people takes an extraordinary amount of organisation. I mean, who organised this?
Well, you've got mafias organising crossings, and obviously there's a big question about whether Morocco's authorities have allowed this in a way and not exercised enough controls on their own borders, because often Morocco does use border disputes like this, migration issues, as part of its kind of broader political disputes with Spain. So there are those questions there as to whether Morocco has sort of allowed this to happen, which has happened on occasion in the past, albeit not as badly as this previously.
And what obligations does Spain have towards these people who've crossed the border? What is their status now?
Well, this is one of the things. Since Spain, actually, its Supreme Court recently ruled that it can't just turn them back immediately if they've come via sea. That actually means, they need to be processed under Spain's law on foreigners. They need to be processed via official procedures. They have a right to have their case heard. They have a right to legal assistance, potentially to interpreters. So Spain does actually have to provide for these citizens through these coming from Morocco into Spain illegally, does have to provide through a formal kind of asylum-seeking procedures rather than just being able to turn them back. So obviously that's a huge numbers that will need to go through this. But I think we need to see how many actually stay, because according to the recent headlines from Spain, already about half of those who've come in have actually left again. So I think, it's very unpredictable at the moment. It also depends how much Morocco cooperates with helping to take some of those back. So there's a lot of unpredictable factors here at the moment, I would say.
What about Italy's demands that Spain should now be excluded from the borderless Schengen zone? And this is quite difficult to understand if you're watching this outside Europe, but just talk us through that.
Well, I think the key issue here is that within the EU, you've got very different attitudes on how to handle the migration crisis. Spain is one of the countries that's been most liberal on this matter. I mean, just a few months back, the Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez introduced a law to allow illegal migrants within Spain to go through a regularisation procedure. So basically this is something that, is the most liberal move that we have seen towards the migration crisis within the EU. And obviously this is contested by a number of other EU countries, particularly those with right-wing or far-right leaders who want a much stricter controls on migration. So all of this is feeding into that dispute, and that's where Italy's position comes from. A country like Italy, their government was very critical of Spain's decision to allow lots of illegal migrants to become legal a few months back, and so a lot of those disputes are now feeding into the issues that we're seeing playing out today.
Caroline, thank you for your time. Caroline Gray, Senior Lecturer in Politics and International Relations at the University of Aston in Birmingham.